Many of you know that for the last few years, whenever I have a writing day, I get up, get dressed, and drive before sunup to a little coffee house about 8 miles from here. Along the way, I adjust myself from sleeping Dave to working Dave. I get a coffee and a bagel, say hello to a few of the locals, open the laptop, and get down to business. I impose this structure on myself because myself needs structure. Or at least I did do all of this before the coffee house got shut down. Writing is a creative process, but long ago I realized that creativity is, in some way, a response to limitations. If you force yourself into some sort of discipline, it will be easier to create. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. It's not that structure directly sparks creativity. It's that structure gives a person a sense of security, a sense that all is well, that the wolf is not right outside the door, and that allows the mind to say, cool, we're not in any immediate danger. Let's relax and get creative. But right now, in America and much of the rest of the world, chaos is beginning to reign supreme. And it's all down to one overarching problem. Authority is breaking down. If you've ever had dogs, you've been through the process of establishing your authority. We all know that this is absolutely necessary. The dog needs to know that you are the alpha and that there is never a situation where you are not the alpha. Once that is firmly established, the dog will tune into you so closely that he'll almost begin to read your mind. You don't establish your authority because you want to micromanage your dog. You do it so you won't have to micromanage your dog. Once you and the hound are on the same wavelength and it's beyond question who is in charge, he will be as free as a dog can be. You'll be able to trust him because there won't be a power vacuum that he keeps trying to fill. He'll spend his life happily pleasing his master. We have dogs because they are simplified versions of us. They're man's best friend because teaching a dog teaches a man about being a man. And yes, this works for women too. If you look around the country right now, you see two things happening at once. In the cities, you see flurries of chaos springing up here and there. Riots, looting, random destruction, and demands that the whole process of law enforcement be radically altered. And in the suburbs, you see mild-mannered liberals still fully masked up and putting themselves through arcane daily procedures. They have fallen in love with the fear of a virus. It's almost become a religious devotional. Both of these phenomena are about structure. They are about authority. On the one hand, you have spoiled children rebelling against all authority, and on the other, people hungrily accepting authority from governors and mayors. The youngsters out tearing up the cities have been raised by people who thought they were teaching freedom when they failed to discipline their kids, when they failed to build into them a natural respect for rules and standards. Everything that the left has been up to for decades is an assault on rules and standards. They've been taught to reject these things. The so-called patriarchy, gender roles, the police, discipline in the classroom, even logic itself. To them, anything with pre-existing rules is oppression. They think they are pursuing freedom, but since wisdom is now all but extinct, they fail to understand what everybody who ever raised up a few puppies had to learn, that without a firm structure, the mind is never calm. The mind falls into a low-grade anxiety that can be triggered into panic at any moment. That's not freedom. Jocko Willink says it like this: discipline equals freedom. America is like a giant organism, and that organism is crying out for the freedom that can only ever come to the disciplined. When this pandemic came along, the health experts gave us just a few simple rules to observe. But because of the deep divide in this country, more than half of the population cannot accept the authority of the current federal government. No agreement was thought possible as to self-policing vis-a-vis social distancing and hand washing. The blue states immediately turned recommendations into unwritten laws. And when they did, their citizens accepted these draconian regulations without the slightest bit of pushback. Liberals from coast to coast glommed onto these new rules with startling eagerness. In California, the curve has been flat for months, and I swear that my neighbors are never planning to drop these dopey masks and get on with their lives. They had spent 3 years shouting down the president and shaming each other into declaring their hatred for him. And all that rebellion did was to make them incredibly anxious. So when finally somebody came along who belonged to their preferred party and was giving them directions, they grabbed it like a lifeline. This felt like a mission. This felt like meaning. Now they could be heroes saving the vulnerable. The masks and gloves became their shining armor. But not everybody in the blue states welcomed the new authority. Teenagers and 20-somethings who were in their party years and maybe grew up without a dad to model after and rebel against, these people also got locked down. And all of their recreational outlets got canceled and forbidden. All of the professional sports where they could at least watch males jostling for alpha status and learn about rules and discipline vicariously, shut down, canceled. They couldn't even go to school and look forward to summer. They were locked up just as tight as the older progressives, but without the meaning. And then a guy got killed by police, and a purpose was suddenly available to them. A group of radicals stepped up to lead them through a half-assed reenactment of the civil rights movement, and all of their pent-up energy and frustration exploded into the streets. Some of them have even locked themselves into a 6-block segment of one of the most tolerant cities on earth, blabbering about how racist the cops are, while the black female police chief tries to sweet-talk them into going home. That woman might be a nice lady and maybe even a good administrator, but I wouldn't let her train my dog. In blue cities, authority has been abdicated and a power vacuum opened up. But nature abhors a vacuum, so now we are dancing to whatever tune Black Lives Matter chooses to play. Last weekend, after over 3 months of struggling to establish a writing discipline without my normal ritual, I got word that the coffee house was open for sit-down business. My pal Zane used to live right up the street from that place and played music there frequently. So on Monday, the two of us met for breakfast. All but 4 of the 14 tables had been removed. There was seating only for 8 people. We ate and talked, and except for maybe 20 minutes when a guy sat 2 tables away to eat a muffin, we had the whole place to ourselves. None of the regulars have returned. There's no energy there, no community. The 2 workers behind the counter seem to have adjusted to this new normal. One of them, a manager, has become a friend of mine. When we were leaving, I joked with him about all this masking and other nonsense. He didn't laugh. In fact, he looked pissed off at me, like I'd insulted his girlfriend or something. I thought about Gavin Newsom saying that we all needed to stay masked so that we could have some of our freedoms back. I guess that's all that my pal at the coffee house has to hold on to. Authority. This madness is all about authority. We need authority that we can all trust. If national standards for policing is a place to start, then let's get started. Maybe after that, we can agree to basic standards of respect toward a duly elected president. I don't see how our nation can survive another 4 years of this, where the political system is reduced to an ongoing Twitter war and a nightly battle of talking points on cable news. We need to stop destroying each other and pull together as a people. Or we're going to wake up one morning and find out that the country we all loved has ceased to exist. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and then click the little bell to get notifications.